Last week was our first installment of letting go of bitterness. And last week's assignment was to define what it is that we're bitter about. And the reason being is that when you give something a name, it gives you power over it. So once you can name what it is, then it's easier for you to be able to focus on it and to really capture what the object or the person or the feeling is that you need to address. What I would like to ask us all to do, because remember, like I told you, it's not just for you, I'm preaching to myself. It's an issue I struggle with, holding grudges and forgiveness. But this week's assignment has to do with assessing what this bitterness or what our attitudes toward this thing, this person, this idea is actually doing to us. What effects does it have on us by our harboring this bitterness toward the idea? Because what I'm finding for me, and I would not be surprised if you find something similar, is that when I don't address and deal with and pray about the what, the who, the whatever it is that's making me bitter, then I bring this feeling into every new interaction and relationship that reminds me of the one that damaged me. Another thing that I notice is that I become so wrapped up in whatever it was that hurt me, whatever it was or whoever it was that wronged me, that I can't even focus on the joy of the present because I'm too busy being mired in the hurt and the anger and the disappointment and the sadness and the pain of this past event. That, of course, leads to me being either anxious that this thing is going to happen again, or I'm sad and depressed about it, which means this event that's already happened, that's already completed, is continuing to control my present. That keeps me from having the real rich and valuable connectedness with others because I'm in a space of not trusting because I don't want to put myself out there again for someone else to treat me or to do to me whatever was done before. So now I'm losing the opportunity to be able to give a new person, a new idea, a new event, a new opportunity, the opportunity to bless my life. Because of the fact that I'm too caught up in what happened before. So I'm dragging unneeded baggage with me that I could have left there in order to open up the possibilities for my present and even for my future. And I think that probably the worst effect that carrying this bitterness has had for me is that I know that's not what God wants me to do. I know God wants and needs for me to be forgiving because I know that I want and I need to be forgiven. So now I feel like I'm at odds with my spiritual beliefs. I feel like I'm a hypocrite because I speak what God wants me to do, but I have not yet mastered how to do what God wants me to do. So for this week, I want you to just take a couple of minutes every day and just assess where this bitterness has you. Because what we're looking forward to doing is going toward freedom, so that we can obtain that peace. And one thing I did not say last week that I want to make sure I make clear this week, we may have a lot of things that are making us bitter, but I want us to focus on one thing at a time. Let's focus on healing one area at a time rather than trying to spread ourselves over a whole bunch of healing. And then when it doesn't happen in the way we think it should or in the time period we think we should, then we feel like we failed and then it takes us back into a whole different cycle of being depressed, etc., and anxious. So let's just try to focus at least on one thing. We've already named at least one thing. Now we're going to focus on what our attitudes and our bitterness against or because of that thing, how is that harming us? And how do you want to be free from it? I hope that helped you. That's our assignment for this week. And I know you're like, why is Jocelyn giving us homework? Because we have to. We have to work on ourselves in order to be better versions of ourselves. So until next week,